Yeah, man. Bomb Squad, what up? Yeah, man, what's happening? Camera trying to mess up on me? What's going on? We don't need any complications. Okay, I think we good. Bomb Squad, what's happening? Man, I feel like we back. Dooley, what's happening? What's happening, Dooley? How you making it in sack town? Hmm? Dooley say where I been. Man, hey, my audio is good. Is my audio good? Man, we've been grinding. We've been grinding. We have a lot going on outside of work, so been still posting videos, been still recording, just not been on a live. But we had to talk about this driverless trucks right now, so we back. Well, I guess we could say we back, huh? We back. Yeah. Yeah, man. So life be lifing, y'all. Life be lifing. So we just work, rest, wake up, work again, rest. So thank you everybody for tuning in. But Dooley asked where I've been. Been everywhere. I feel like I've been everywhere. Um, but we just been grinding. Share a story with y'all. Um, we had a business that we started in 2022, so we was able to sell that. So been getting all the paperwork together and closed on a sale about 2 weeks ago. So that's been awesome. That's uh that's a blessing to start a business, build it up, a successful business, build it up, and eventually somebody else want to take it over and buy it. So like that's always good. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. My bad, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second, fam. There we go. Hopefully this don't jump back. Okay, so all right, we back, y'all. We good. Shouts out to the chat, y'all. But like I was saying, we sold a business, and so we went through all the process with the paperwork, meetup, and all of that stuff, transfer of assets, and all of that good stuff. And so we good on that. So, like I said, it's been a journey, and we definitely support the new owners, and so we've been busy with that. But we still in support. But it's a new chapter now, so we still working. We're still trying to show up for you guys, and I appreciate it, bully. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Jeff said self-driving trucks. Well, let me get that right here. Self-driving trucks. He said he saw a Walmart drone make a delivery a couple days ago. So many people, jobs will be gone when that becomes the regular. It will be a catastrophe. I can't say you're wrong there. I cannot say you're wrong there. Um, Glory. Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. We appreciate it. Yeah, the sale. I think we listed it in November, and had a few prospects along the way, and these fine folks, they finally, they decided that's what they wanted, and so we was able to execute on the deal. So, shouts out to them. They got a really good business. I don't know why this keep happening. I don't know what's up with my camera, y'all. Bear with me. Sorry, y'all. Bear with me. You see, last live I said about the technical difficulties, and now I look at it. Now I look at it. All right. Hope this doesn't happen again. Just take this one off. Gloria said could be the storm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's raining or not, but it's not the internet. It's the actual camera. So just keep knocking off. But all right. But like I said, yeah, we've been busy with that, so that's all good. Work has been work has been good. It's been crazy hot, and look, I have a hoodie on, but my family keeps it as cold as a hospital in here. So um, if you walk around with a tank top or a short sleeve, you just might be cold. So that's why I have the hoodie on. But don't get it twisted. It was like 95 today. Maybe hotter than that. Maybe 96, 97. But yeah. So, but it's a pleasure to be before you guys, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hopefully y'all been good. Hope everybody been good. Hope everybody been great. Um, there's still lingering talks with the buyouts and all of that stuff. People still asking me questions, want me to do videos, and I think I've done enough videos about the buyouts. I'm not sure if I could talk more about it, but you know, yeah. So let's get started. Let's get started, y'all. The Breakdown Media. Breakdown Media, we up and we live.
Breakdown meeting.
We
Breakdown meeting.
live. What up? What up, Bomb Squad? It's an honor to be before you guys. We appreciate it on a Monday night. On a Monday night, what we're gonna start doing is, I've been reluctant to set a live schedule, but I do believe at this point I'm starting to see the trends, and I'm starting to realize that on Mondays it's probably a good night to do a live. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and schedule Monday night lives unless something else comes up, and we're gonna try to input a different night as well, along with the Monday nights. But Monday nights, Monday's light for us, so we're able to get off the clock at a decent time and make it over to the crib and get it popping. But thank you guys for being here. Yeah, these self-driving trucks. See, my camera is still twitching again, man. This is not cool, but we're gonna try to work with it. We're gonna try to work with it. Yeah, these self-driving trucks. Saw a couple videos, and I just chose one to go over. And it's a pretty big deal. I'm not sure how many of you guys got Teslas, if you'll have the self-driving features on the Teslas, but of course they have the technology as well as Aurora, which they're out of California. They're the big dogs as far as doing the self-driving 18 wheelers, and we'll talk about them here a little later. And there's like two, three other companies that's trying the same technology as well. Now, I drove trucks, I drove 18 wheelers for about 8 years, from '06 to 2014 before I came to UPS. And like I seen a lot. I wasn't over the road, but I was more or less like line haul, like one shot. Say I just go from Houston over to Denver, Colorado, and just come on back. So I was on the road, but like I said, not over the road, but I was on the road enough, and I seen a lot. And so I'll share some of the stuff that I've seen along with the video that we're going to talk about, and I'll give my insight because, as with anything new, whether it's technology, um, wages, new industries pop up, you're going to always have people on both sides, people in the middle, whether it's good for the economy, whether it's bad for the economy. You're always going to get different perspectives and different interests. And then you have the government, right? And so the self-driving trucks is very polarizing because, people don't want to lose their jobs. And it seems like these corporations, these companies raising money, and they're pushing the technology in order for the trucks to drive themselves. So I'll give you guys what I think once we're done, but let's go through it. Let's see what they're talking about, all right? Let's see.
This highway has a secret.
So we're here on I-45 in Palmer, Texas, just south of Dallas. We are on the lookout for a new invention that could potentially upend one of the largest industries in America. That invention, a driverless truck.
Driverless semi-trucks are now operating in Texas.
No one behind the wheel of a huge semi-truck.
First of all, that truck driving and the steering wheel is just shifting back and forth. That looks crazy. That looks crazy. Okay, let's keep going.
Aurora launched service this
my
week.
heart is just palpitating thinking about this.
Aurora Innovation and several of their competitors have been using I-45 as a testing ground to prove a single point. They don't need drivers.
Well, it's going to be a catastrophe.
We are on the verge of a new era in trucking,
I mean, this is truly transformational technology.
and it's coming for your job too.
More jobs are lost through automation than they are through trade
A
deals.
robot comes into a factory, workers go away.
Robots could soon put together your next grocery order.
Many office jobs even.
The job you have today ain't going to be here in 10 or 15 years.
The question would be to the company, why do you need everything automated?
So, we came to Texas to witness the revolution for ourselves.
Okay, so I-45, they're testing I-45 is the corridor between Houston and Dallas, and then it ends in Dallas. But, well, it actually goes all the way down to Galveston, but mainly Houston and Dallas is hella busy. If you ever drove on I-45 between Houston and Dallas, it's pretty good highway, but it's busy as far as trucks. You have leisure travel. It's just a very, very busy corridor. Lots of action going on. So it kind of makes sense where they will test. Well, one, they're going to test in Texas because of the laws being really relaxed to do the self-drive testing. But it's a very busy highway. Very busy highway. Let's keep going.
Every load that one of these driverless trucks take is a load that's being taken away from a driver.
We spent time with truck drivers talking about what this means for them.
I kind of am one of the last of the cowboys. We are truly a dying breed of people.
And find out how ready our roads and our society are for this change.
Have we done a good job of addressing the policy questions that need to be answered in order to successfully develop this to maximize the benefits of it? I think absolutely not.
This tech is coming. I mean, it's here now. But is there a way to make it work for us instead of against us?
It's all happening right here. Buckle up. We're heading out. So right now we're just parked right across the first transfer hub from Aurora Innovation. This is where they're going to be launching the driverless trucks out of.
Aurora Innovation was started in 2017 by 3 Silicon Valley heavyweights. Chris Urmson, who previously led Google's self-driving car project that spun off into Waymo. Sterling Anderson, who led the development of the Tesla Autopilot and Model X. And Drew Bagnell, who worked on autonomous innovation at Uber. Aurora does not actually make trucks. They make what's called
the Aurora Driver.
It's a combination of software, like AI, machine learning, and training simulations, and hardware, like radar, LiDAR, and cameras, that work together to create and inform the Aurora Driver.
The Aurora Driver is going to be essential to our customers. It's going to allow them to build more revenue while having lower costs.
And they are not alone. Companies like Wabi, Plus AI, and Kodiak are all in the race to create driverless trucks.
Yo, look at that. That just looks crazy. I mean, me being a truck driver in the past, just like I can't adjust the idea of me looking at a truck moving and the wheel is just turning, and there's no driver. It's just crazy to see, even though I know that they're testing and all of this and that, but it's just crazy just to see that, because you're just so used to a driver manning these trucks, and then now it's just like no driver. Just sounds crazy. Now I know the technology is advancing really, really fast, but it's still hard to imagine. It's hard to wrap my head around no driver. Okay, let's keep going, y'all.
But Aurora is the big one, and they said they'd be ready to launch by the end of April 2025.
All right, and there she goes. Got drivers in it, which is a little bit unfortunate for us, but it's good for anybody that still needs a job. And we're going to be following it all the way down to Houston. The truck that we're following right now, even though there's a safety driver and a technician in it, the safety driver is basically just holding their hands right next to the wheel in case there's any erratic motions. It's still driving itself.
Aurora and other companies have been testing on I-45 in Texas like this for years.
Texas is ground zero for it because they have a really permissive regulatory environment here, and this specific stretch of road is one of the densest freight corridors in America, and there's a lot of money to be made here.
And obviously, the money has to come from somewhere.
Major changes to these industries will have major impact on
There'll
jobs.
be a massive depletion of truck driving opportunities.
Driving for a living is the single most common job for high school educated men in this country.
So is Aurora going to have a driver?
All right, so this Teamsters Local 988. I'm actually a part of this union location here in Texas. Let's keep going.
In the truck of an autonomous vehicle? No, they're not. So they are going to take jobs.
Robert and Chris are with the Teamsters Local 988, representing truckers in Texas. Their union hall is just a few miles from Aurora's terminal in Houston.
So before deregulations, truck driving was considered a very good paying middle class job. You could raise a family on it.
But that's not so true anymore.
There's a trope in trucking. It was always better before.
The trucking industry has changed to the point where I don't recognize it anymore.
They all felt as though they were betrayed by the government for the Motor Carrier Act.
We actually made a whole video on the Motor Carrier Act of 1980 and just how much it changed these jobs.
And today we're looking at why truckers can't make a living.
The advent of self-driving trucks, in my view, is actually the end point of a long series of technologies that have caused a decline in wages and working conditions.
Steve Viselli has been studying the industry for over a decade.
What that led to was very high turnover. And so those experienced drivers who were used to those good wages and good working conditions said, essentially, hell no.
That'll run people out real quick. If the wages go down and it's more headache, yeah, that's going to run people out. And unfortunately, the experienced guys and gals, they're going to find other careers, or they're going to do something different if it's too much turmoil. Especially people's money. Don't mess with people's money. But companies are always going to try to move product for cheaper. So it's always going to be competitive. And, you have companies charge this, you have companies charge that, you have companies undercut, you have owner operators going to undercut. So the trucking industry is tough. And you have to factor in fuel as well, So it's going to always be competitive, but that's a quick way to reduce the industry is to cut people's wages, offer prices to go down, and people getting undercut. Let's keep going.
I'm not going to do that. And so this is where the driver shortage narrative comes from.
A major shortage of truck drivers in the
Shortage of truck drivers.
Actually, not enough truck drivers.
The industry is approaching a breaking point.
Now, there isn't a shortage of truck drivers. We have 3 times the number of folks with a license to drive a truck than the truck.
Driver shortage, right? So Cass said, how does a truck get refueled? We don't know. So as of now, they're probably going to have a driver in a truck. But as far as getting refueled, I guess they have to figure that out. But when they talk about the driver shortage, all right, so he said that, there's a narrative in the media like, oh, well, there's driver shortage in certain industries. They pushing the narrative, and the media might be pushing the narrative. But he said there's 3 times the people that have a license. Okay, but that doesn't mean that those people want to drive. You can have a license. It it might not even be valid, but you can have a CDL license. But if you're not looking for these jobs, then there could very much well be a shortage. And so that doesn't tell us anything. If they're saying there's a shortage and you have 3 times the people with licenses, that doesn't mean that there's not a shortage still, because if they're not seeking those jobs, like I still have my Class A CDL. Like I don't use it because I don't need it, but I'm not going to get rid of it because like I just hold on to it. But I'm not seeking truck driving job either, but I'm holding on to my CDL. Like I know several people that's doing that. So that's not a good argument on his behalf. Let's keep going.
It's because of this turnover in the industry. In some years, as many people are trained for those jobs as the number of jobs themselves, meaning we have almost 100% turnover of people entering the industry and leaving it every year.
But this driver shortage narrative is how Aurora has been justifying its work.
The trucking industry has faced and continues to face a structural challenge with not having access to enough drivers.
We're delivering.
Well, of course they have to, because the thing is what Aurora is doing, they're raising money. Of course they have to. They have this new technology. They're trying to push it. So they have to come up with something to tell the lobbyists, to tell the congressmen, say, look, this is the problem that we're trying to solve for. And so they almost have to grab onto a narrative and push it, even if they don't 100% believe it, but they have to. In order for it to make sense, they have to justify spending the money and pushing the technology. They have to. So that's what every company would do. Let's keep going.
Bring a scalable, stable driver supply.
They're not addressing a shortage because there isn't one. There's never been one. There's a shortage of willingness to invest in people and pay them better.
What they really should be saying is we're going to run the freight for a lot cheaper than it would be to have a meat in the seat driver.
Aurora has made some very serious claims about what their technology, the Aurora driver, can do.
In the U.S. alone, 6,000 people die in accidents with trucks on our freeways. The Aurora driver can drive that number to 0.
Okay, so that's a lot of accidents and that's a lot of fatalities. Like, we understand how dangerous it is to drive from point A to point B, especially on highways when you have trucks, you have people distracted with phones and not paying attention. Like, we get all of that. Drowsy drivers with fatigue, whether you're driving commercially or personally. And so we understand that. So they're going to pull up all of the stats, say, hey, look, these many people die on highways every year. These many accidents happen every day on the highways. Like, I'm not disputing that. That happens because, it's human error. Whether you falling asleep or whether you're distracted or whether you have mechanical breakdown or whatever, we live in a distracted era. So those numbers are going to always be high. Now, with him saying the Aurora driver can drive that number to 0, I don't so much believe that because, they're going to say it, but I don't think that's possible. But I do think that it could be safer. Maybe. We'll have to see. But driving the number to 0, I don't think that's possible because, technology is always going to have glitches in it. It's always going to have something happen. Now, will it be as many as with human drivers? Maybe, maybe not. But to take it down to 0, highly unlikely. Let's keep going.
Now, they're going to guarantee that.
Yes, absolutely, Kaz. Red flag when he said 0. Like, come on. Like, make it believable at least. All right, let's keep.
They're going to have no fatalities through any one of their driverless trucks. I'm willing to bet on that.
Because the Aurora driver has been tested.
Yeah, so I agree. Yeah, I agree with Robert. So, like, to say 0, that's far-fetched. Will they have some still? Probably so. Will it be safer, like I said? It could be, but we don't know. But to make those claims, even if you say, hey, it'll cut accidents down to half, that might be believable. All right, let's keep going.
Without public oversight or regulation, a lot of their claims are hard to prove.
The Aurora driver will change lives.
One thing is clear, though. This is positioned to take jobs.
Human drivers are limited to 11 hours a day. The Aurora driver should be able to almost double that, if not more.
There are a lot of types of trucking jobs. One of them is called line haul trucking.
These are some of the best jobs in trucking. These are over-the-road drivers moving from motor carrier terminal to motor carrier terminal.
That's essentially what Aurora is hoping to prove it can do with the Dallas to Houston route.
They've been running that same route for years now. And so that's really how it's going to roll out for these better jobs, is those ones that go along a particular lane, right, between an origin and destination, those are going to be the ones that get automated next.
There was a little bit of feeling of accomplishment of getting done purpose, delivering stuff. I mean, over the years, I've hauled a lot of different freight.
Will Cook is a truck driver. We brought him along with us to see more tests of the Aurora driverless truck.
So Chris Urmson told investors,
I very much look forward to the day when every truck here on I-45 is driven by Aurora.
what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, where's all these people going to go to work? I mean, look how many trucks we're passing right now. Where are these people going to go to work?
Aurora and their partners, though, claim all of this is actually good for drivers.
We feel like this will help develop a better job, a better career for our drivers.
These line haul jobs that they're taking, I'm telling you, guys stay on a list to get these line haul jobs. Well, why is there a list? There ain't a list to get in and do local work.
This is the way that things are looking now. Aurora is training for that line haul job. It's getting good at highway driving, but driving off the highway, where the variables are different, is harder. So a human driver on either side of the Aurora driver's journey will do what is called the first and last mile. Those jobs are often paid less and are already on their way to being automated too.
Those are really policy questions as to whether or not we have two really good truck driving jobs on either end of that autonomous trip, or some of the worst jobs out there in many ways.
I find it hard to believe that representatives aren't screaming at the top of their lungs about, hey, we need to find out what these people are doing.
I know why. I'm sure he knows why. You have lobbyists, you have money flying everywhere. We know why. So if I'm raising all this money to push this technology, I'm going to make sure money goes in certain places, if you know what I mean. And so, the people that's making the laws, they're not going to scream at the top of their lungs because, if they have interest, if they have certain interests, then why should they? If they get in the bag on it, why would they? Let's keep going.
This is Brent Taylor. He's the vice president of the Southern region for the Teamsters.
To take away their driving job and giving it to an automated system overnight, basically, would be devastating to a lot of families.
Texas has been a haven for these companies to develop and test their driverless trucks, unregulated. But a new bill in Texas legislature is hoping to stop that.
But at the end of the day, we need human oversight in these vehicles.
HB 4402 requires a human operator to be physically present in any automated commercial vehicle, which can mean protecting jobs, at least in the short term.
And these companies are lying to the general public, saying, it's going to create jobs. It's not going to create enough jobs to make, especially the money that these drivers make.
The Texas bill is just...
Yeah, I don't really see how they'll create jobs. I think they're just talking. They're just saying that. But, there's no way possible that they'll create jobs on that. It's just, just doing the math, it just doesn't make sense. Let's keep going.
It's one of a handful of bills in state legislatures across the country finally taking on this industry. That is, if the federal government doesn't get in the way.
Big corp trying to save money, and I get that. I'm not anti-corporation, but at some point we're going to have to start looking at this and deciding how our country's going to address it when it comes to jobs.
So, does the arrival of self-driving trucks have to mean total job loss? Is there any hope at all?
The impacts are not baked into the technology itself. Oftentimes you have people say, what are self-driving trucks going to do to truck drivers? Self-driving trucks aren't going to do anything to truck drivers. Their employers are going to do something to truck drivers. The people who operate, these trucks are the ones making that decision.
In his report, Steve laid out a number of ways this technology could affect the labor supply, from replacing drivers completely to working in collaboration with them. One of the more hopeful scenarios is called
platooning. So in this scenario, you would have a human driving that lead truck, and then you would have autonomous trucks behind it. That same driver is now able to move 2 or 3 times the amount of freight that they were before. And the advantage is that they're there in case, the environment should have some condition that the truck is unclear about, whether it be weather, an accident, a blown tire.
And this example, he says, could actually lead to upskilling instead of deskilling and higher wages for more specialized drivers.
And what we need to do is we need to see this technology as a tool, and we need to decide what it does. Is it going to make our highways safer? Is it going to make trucking jobs better? Is it going to help us to fight climate change? Is it going to help us to have more efficient infrastructure? Rather than assuming that the technology is going to decide what impacts it has, we as a democratic society should decide what those priorities are, and we should put this tool to work achieving those goals.
Just a few days after we filmed their test run, Aurora officially launched their driverless truck. And a few days later, they put a human back in the cab. And the next steps for Aurora are obvious. They want to expand through the Sun Belt and other states with lax regulations. They want to expand to local delivery and passenger vehicles. They want to dominate the market.
We look at this market and we just see it as Aurora's to lose.
This isn't the first time that a radical new technology reshaped the labor market. In the Industrial Revolution, machines powered by steam and coal transformed society, often at the expense of workers. Today's drivers are much like the folk heroes of the early 20th century, figures from songs and legends like John Henry.
John Henry was the best steel driver,
who represented the struggle of workers fighting to prove their value against these new machines.
And then here comes a man with a steam drill. The legend speaks of this race taking place between John Henry and the machine.
I saw this YouTube of a Budweiser truck being driven by a driverless truck, and it was like this visceral fear that gripped me. And I really felt like, okay, this must be what John Henry felt like when the steam-driven hammering machines came out and his job was on the line. And so I did write a song called The Ghost of John Henry.
I saw the ghost of John Henry. He was cackling through his chain. He said, you may beat the machine one time, they're gonna kill you just the same.
All right, so fact of the matter is, once you start the ball rolling downhill, gaining momentum, figuring it out, it's hard to stop it. You know, Aurora has been working, and other companies have been working on this technology for years. In fact, I remember when they first went public. I forgot what year it was, but they've been working on this technology for years. And so the ball is rolling, and I'm not sure if you can get in the way to stop it. So the change is going to be inevitable. I don't think you're going to be able to stop it. But the nuances matters, because what they're going to be able to do, as far as, like he said, with the one driver with the automatic trucks behind them, what they call it, skiing. If they're going to be able to figure that out, maybe, but that's still, like, let's say it's you in one truck and 3 trucks behind you. That still should be 4 jobs, but it's 1 now, right? And then companies going to see, like, okay, well, we can buy these self-driving trucks and spend this amount of money. Our insurance may be a little more expensive, but we don't have to pay a person. And of course, this is how corporations are going to look at it. We don't have to deal with the human error of somebody calling in, somebody getting sick, somebody not feeling like working. They're going to try to delete the human aspect of it and go with the self-driving truck. I'm not saying that's a great idea. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but it absolutely could affect jobs. Absolutely. My take is this. You're not going to stop it. And when it comes to technology, we can't put the genie back in the bottle. Like, once it's out, then it's out. When we had flip phones, when they first came out with cell phones, they had the flip phones. And so once we went over to smartphones, then they stopped making the flip phone like I know some people still right now have flip phones. It's kind of crazy, right? But um, once you come out with smartphones, like you're not gonna go back and say, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna put these smartphones away. We're gonna come back with flip phones because once you get to a certain point, and that's it, you're not gonna go back. And so with this technology, they're not gonna put it back in a bottle. They're gonna just keep advancing it, making it better and better until they actually have a product that they can put on the streets by law, and they can make it work, and they'll just deal with whatever happens after that because they'll put so much money into this. They'll raise millions and millions of dollars, sometimes billions of dollars in order to put this technology to work. And, they have to deliver for investors. And so I don't see it going away. I think it's a problem. But at the same time, if you're a truck driver, of course, I'm sure you know about this what's going on. I mean, you don't just have to make yourself valuable. And I'm not saying change careers, but just be up to breast on the changes in the technology because it's not going to go backwards. It's not going to go away. And so once it's here, you have to deal with it. There's no, hey, let's negotiate. Look, these corporations, and I'm not against corporations, like they have the task to make profit and to do everything in the best interest of them, the corporations, the shareholders, investors, and so on. So, like when it comes to the workers, you understand labor rights and all of that stuff. Like that's great, and I support it. But at the same time, they're not loyal to anybody but the investors and the shareholders. And so, when it comes to the worker, you're just a number, and you know pretty much everybody's disposable, even the CEOs and executives at these corporations. If they don't get the job done, they could be out of here too. And so I just say to the truck drivers, make yourself as valuable as possible, see what's going on, and make those adjustments. All right. I saw the light. What's up, brother? How you doing? Bomb squad. Yeah, man, we up. We back on a Monday night. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. Well, shouts out to you. Shouts out to you. So there's this other video, and we might go over this one later on in the week. I want to say in China, where they're using the self-driving trucks like right now actively. Like it's a thing. And so we can go over that one later on in the week. But yeah, they've been using it for a while already. And so like I'm not saying United States trying to catch up, but China is China. You know what I mean? Man, yeah, man, I saw the light, man. Yeah, that's good that you're doing good, man. We took a few weeks off the lives, but hey, we back. We back, and I got stuff lined up. I got stuff lined up. I seen a paper today, in which it seems like that they are advertising for the SSD drivers, the seasonal support drivers, for peak season, and so I guess they're starting to hire for that. But they're advertising, of course, they want the part-time inside people to get those jobs first, which I agree. That's the way it's supposed to be. And so um, I seen that paperwork today. So I guess they're rolling that out, which is good. So hopefully people get some opportunities to make some overtime come peak season, especially the part-timers, before they give them to those opportunities to people off the street. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So I'm assuming that we probably won't see any job postings as of right now. But hopefully these part timers get filled in with these SSD jobs, and hopefully everything is good with that. And like I said earlier in the show, People still want me to talk about buyouts. I know the deadline was extended. I don't know if the extended deadline is already met yet. I'm not sure. But either way, like I know a few people that took the buyout, that took advantage of the buyouts in my building. And so, you know, people gonna do what they want to do. And look, I get it. I don't think the buyouts are bad. A lot of people say they're garbage. I don't think they're garbage. You know, it's just not for me. But for the people that's gonna take a buyout, I don't think they think it's garbage, and that's probably why they took it. And so, hey, shouts out to them. And shouts out to people that think it's garbage. I mean, everybody gonna have their own opinion, but I don't think they're garbage. But yeah, man. So I'm kind of winded talking about the buyouts, like for real, for real. So probably won't be making any more videos unless there's new revelations that's involved or other stuff pops up where we got to bring it to the front and talk about it again. Dooley said, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Dooley said, you're on a layoff list, but you still show up. Yeah, man, it's only right. It's only right. Um, if I was to find myself on the layoff list, like I would have to show up too. Aside from, you know, trying to create out opportunities, I would have to show up as well, just because, like, you won't get an opportunity if you won't show up, and so give yourself a chance by showing up. So I agree with that. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to you. Hey, it's hard, man. It's hard, and you having different parts of the country where they have job postings, and you have different parts of the country where they're closing down facilities. You have different parts of the country to where they're laying off, and it's so confusing. And I got a comment on one of the videos. It was just yesterday. I dropped a new video last week about basically, how to become a driver in this environment in 2025. And, someone made a comment saying, I thought they were laying off. And I'm like, no, but like I said in the video, depending on where you at. It's not everywhere. It depends on where you at. And the opportunities vary. And so it's very confusing to people who's not familiar with the way this works. And so I understand that. So, but it's not the same conditions everywhere. As of now, and I always check the job postings on the website. Like the closest job postings now is like in the Dallas area to me. Um, and I forgot what it was. It was a part-time job, but um, there's not a lot in Texas, you know. But different parts of the country, there's a lot more, and so you have to figure that out. Figure that out. They say they extended the buyout stuff because it wasn't enough people at first, which it is what it is. Still have to add jobs, so I'm sure they're trying to figure that out as well. Dooley said he's building 3 years out to become a driver. Yeah, that's I'm not gonna say that's good or bad. 3 years is a decent amount of time. Um, but it's not forever. And so if you part time and it still takes 3 years, at least you'll get the part time credit, for your pension, as part time while you wait, to become a driver. Probably part time driver first, then full time. But yeah, 3 years is not terrible, but yeah, most people, well, I can say most people, some people might not want to wait that long because it's not really guaranteed. But you know, when I started, I started as a TCD. I came in part-time, and I really didn't work inside a whole lot before I started driving, and it took me about a year and a half to get full-time. In fact, today is actually my Brown anniversary. So I started on August 18th, 2014. So yeah, August the 18th. But that year and a half to get full time, it felt so long. It felt so long, but you know, it should have been sooner. But hey, it came when it came, and you know, I'm glad for that. Yeah, but hey, hang in there, man. And hang in there, Dooley. If you have any questions, man, or need any kind of support, man, just send me an email, brickdoteveryday@gmail.com, and we can chop it up. All right. Yeah, man. It feels good to be back on the live, man. Back on the live feels good. Sorry about the difficulties early. My camera was acting a little funny, but it looks like we got it figured out. So we appreciate all the patience. We appreciate the support. We have dropped new videos on the channel, so y'all check that out. Let me know what you think and share it with whoever needs to share it with. And we'll see y'all in the next live, y'all. Brickdown Media. We out.